My superstar girlfriend, Liu Ruyen. On the very night she accepted my marriage proposal, she put on her sexiest lingerie and got together with her driver right on our wedding bed. They threw themselves into a heated battle that lasted all night long. She thought she was being so careful, leaving no trace behind, and assumed I was completely in the dark. Little did she know the videos of their trysts were already saved by me, so many that my hard drive was overflowing. I watched her use her award-winning acting skills to flaunt our passionate love online every single day, while on the other hand she was sneaking around for massive secret rendezvous. I suddenly recalled the vow she once made to me. She said, "If I ever betray you, I will lose my reputation and be ruined, and meet a miserable, undignified end." So on the very day Liu Ruyen was supposed to marry me, I did three things. First, I turned all the gifts she gave me into cold, hard cash. The second thing, I sold every single share I owned in the company. And the third thing, I leaked her steamy infidelity clips all over the internet. Her public ruin is already complete. As for her miserable end, that might have to wait a little longer. A shocking scandal erupted. The film queen, supposedly a pure white lotus, was secretly trysting right before her wedding, even getting pregnant. See you next Monday. I opened Weibo and saw the two keywords that had climbed to the top of the search charts. A bitter smile tugged at the corner of my mouth. Liu Ruyen and I have been in love for 7 long years. I watched her go from a nobody to a supporting actress, then to a lead, until she finally joined the ranks of the elite 95 generation starlets. But I never imagined that one day I would be the one to destroy her. And yet, Liu Ruyen once laid on my chest and swore an oath. She said, "Ji Boda, in this life I belong only to you. If not, let me be disgraced and ruined and never find peace in death." I can't make her die a miserable death, but if I want her to be disgraced, all I had to do was contact a famous paparazzi. 3 keywords: film queen's secret pregnancy night before the wedding. Every single one of them pointed directly at Liu Ruyen. I scrolled through the posts on the hot search page and saw her fans desperately trying to defend their idol. The debate was incredibly heated. Fans were all trying to whitewash it, saying, "Next Monday? Isn't that in 7 days? If it's really Liu Ruyen, I swear I'll eat dirt while doing a handstand. But if it's not her, then all you haters better crawl out and kowtow an apology. How could it possibly be Liu Ruyen? She and her boyfriend have been together since they were poor. They've been through so many years of a long-term relationship." Exactly. On my baby's Weibo, their story is still recorded right there. It's truly a miracle. They were originally classmates. When she was bullied at school, it was her boyfriend who stood up to protect her. He was so badly hurt he fell into a coma. Liu Ruyen stayed by his hospital bed, taking care of him with so much devotion. You could say they fell in love at first sight. They got together right after the college entrance exams. Yeah, and Yan Yan is a total romantic at heart. Back when she was on that reality show, a sharp-tongued MC subtly asked her, "The gap between you and your boyfriend is growing wider. Do you feel any pressure? Do you feel like you have no status at home?" Yan Yan replied very seriously back then, "Whoever earns more in the family is a blessing for us all. There's no rule saying a man must earn more money." She even said she always depends on her boyfriend and listens to him in everything. When she won the Best Newcomer award, she actually asked if the trophy could be exchanged for cash, saying she wanted to save up for a gaming console for her boyfriend. At the time, many fans of the independent woman trope even criticized her for being too much of a hopeless romantic. You're telling me a person like that is having an affair? I'm speechless. I watched her fans list every proof of her love for me and could only bow my head with his self-mocking smile, hiding the disappointment and loneliness in my eyes. Everyone says that Liu Ruyen loves me to the bone. But who could have guessed? The woman who swore she'd never leave me even in death dared to keep a lover right under our noses, and it was happening right in front of me all along. Every night after I fell into a deep sleep, she would slip out and sneak into her private van to have a passionate tryst with that driver. I stared at every steamy frame of those videos, listening to those vulgar, sickening moans. My heart felt like it was being ripped open, bloody and agonizing. The flawless love story in the eyes of the world turned out to be this hideous and filthy. I lost my parents at a young age. I went hungry many days at school. Because of that, I couldn't afford class fees and never joined any group activities. I gradually became more solitary and cold. In the eyes of my peers, I was a total freak. But even with someone like me, Liu Ruyen took the initiative to sit beside me. She haughtily asked if I wanted to tutor her in math. In exchange, she brought me lunch every single day. She was like a beam of light piercing through my dark world. So anyone who dared to bully her, Ji Boda, would never let it slide. But what about now? She pulled me out of the mud, only to heartlessly push me into a bottomless abyss. I brushed aside the memories and opened another app. Without hesitating about the destination, I decisively bought myself a plane ticket for a flight in 7 days. For the last 8 years, my whole life revolved around Liu Ruyen. From now on, for the rest of my life, I will bravely pursue my own dreams. Right after I booked the ticket, phone rang. Mr. G, your custom-tailored groom's suit has arrived. Please come by for a fitting. I gave a faint, perfunctory reply. I looked up just as Liu Ruyen was walking towards me. Tonight is Liu Ruyen's Grand Slam Awards ceremony. I didn't want to go at first, but she insisted on dragging me along. She said that in every significant moment of her life, I am not allowed to be absent. While accepting the award, she poured out a stream of moving confessions. This time, I didn't feel moved in the slightest. I only found it ridiculous and ironic. It made me want to vomit, so I walked out in the middle of it. Liu Ruyen chased after me, calling out, "Ji Boda!" I tried calling but couldn't reach you. You scared me to death. Why did you run all the way out here without saying a word? She grabbed my hand, looking me up and down. Only after confirming I was safe did she breathe a sigh of relief. I looked at her, drenched in sweat from anxiety. The concern in her eyes felt strangely genuine. I truly couldn't understand. How could someone who loves me so much secretly sneak around with another man? She said, "Ji Boda, from now on, you're not allowed to go off without telling me and just disappear like that. You're not allowed to leave me alone. If something happened to you, what would I do?" Straightened my suit and looked at her with a smile. I asked, "Have you seen the hot search? The woman in that scandal. It wouldn't happen to be you, would it?" "What hot search?" Liu Ruyen took out her phone and scrolled through. A flash of darkness crossed her eyes, but she immediately returned to her gentle self. She snuggled coquettishly into my arms, saying, "I don't know where your head is at today. How could that possibly be me? Don't you know how much I love you?" There wasn't a hint of guilt in her tone. That sincerity almost clouded my mind once again. I looked at her and replied, "Right. Do you remember the vow you made before? If you were to betray me." Liu Ruyen finished the sentence even faster than I could. She said, "That I'll be disgraced and meet a gruesome end." Liu Ruyen's expression was perfectly calm, as if the person trysting with the driver every night wasn't her at all. I know Liu Ruyen won't shed a tear until she sees her own casket, but it doesn't matter. I've already arranged everything. In just 7 days, Liu Ruyen, you will face the wrath of the very fans who are risking it all to defend you. Public backlash will be brutal. Those who betray true love deserve to be punished by 1,000 needles. Right now, I have no desire to test her acting skills any further. Suddenly remembered, the custom-made suit is here. Let me go try it on. She said, "Okay." On the way there, Liu Ruyen excitedly mapped out our future together, totally oblivious to my cold expression. She called out, "Ji Boda, I've cleared my schedule for the entire month. Let's take a road trip to the beach, okay?" Her small hands clung tightly to me, as if she were afraid I would just vanish. I silently pulled my hand away. I smiled and said, "You seem to like road trips lately. Didn't you used to say long car rides made you sick? Who was it that cured your motion sickness?" I thought to myself, it must be thanks to that handsome young driver. Liu Ruyen thought she was hiding it so well, so she just assumed I was joking. She cooed, "That's right. My boyfriend is the best medicine for motion sickness. As long as you're with me, I won't feel sick in any car." The car just pulled up. The store staff were already waiting at the door. When she saw us, the clerk's eyes lit up. She said, "You two must be Mr. G and his lady. What a beautiful couple. This suit is one of a kind in the whole world. Ms. Liu had it specially custom-made just for you." With that, she led us inside for the fitting. Midway through, I glanced up. I saw Liu Ruyen standing behind me, her eyes glued to her phone. The fire of hidden desire was clear in her eyes. The staff called her several times, before she finally tore her gaze away from the screen. Looking at me, she gasped, "Ji Boda, you look so handsome. That's my husband for you." Then she threw herself into my arms, standing on her tiptoes to give me a light kiss on the chin. The tenderness in her eyes made me freeze for a moment. Then I heard her say hurriedly, "Ji Boda, something urgent just came up. I'll have the driver come pick you up later, okay?" She left without even looking back once. Without even trying on her own wedding dress. She rushed into the car and disappeared, hurrying back to her little lover's side. I looked away. Coldly, I took off the suit. As I was about to leave, the clerk chased after me and asked, "Mr. G, is there something you're not happy with about the suit? We can make adjustments according to your request." I replied, "No need." The groom's suit was clearly one size too small. I wonder who Liu Ruyen was thinking about when she gave those measurements to the shop. If clothes don't fit, they can be fixed. But if people don't fit, the only option is to throw them away. Shedding the tight, suffocating suit, I changed into loose, comfortable sportswear. I felt a lightness in my chest I'd never known before. I didn't bother waiting for her to pick me up, but headed straight home on my own. Just as I reached the gate of the villa, the phone in my pocket vibrated over a dozen times in a row. I opened it to look. Immediately, I was hit with dozens of lewd photos and several short clips. I turned up the screen brightness and zoomed in, staring intently at the woman in the clip. Around her waist, she was still wearing the peace amulet I had gotten for her myself. The chain around her waist was swinging rhythmically with every thrust of the man on top. A message from Yitang Chang popped up. Look, so what does she thank you in front of millions? With just one snap of my fingers, she comes running to me like a good girl. G. Boda. Her body is covered in my marks now. Still want to share her. My hands trembled as I shoved the phone back in my pocket and pushed the door open to enter the house. Liu Ruyan was in the dressing room wearing a lace-slip dress. She looked incredibly sexy and alluring. She asked, G. Boda, how come you came back on your own? I was going to find you after I got changed, so we could go have hot pot together. She walked up right in front of me, blinking her big eyes with an air of pure innocence. But I caught a strong, pungent scent coming from her. Nausea immediately surged in my stomach. I couldn't hold it back and doubled over, vomiting on the floor. Boda, what's wrong? Is your stomach acting up again? Let me take you to the hospital. As she spoke, she took out her phone to make a call. She said, Hey Cheng, get up here right now. We have to get to the hospital immediately. A moment later, rapid footsteps echoed from the stairs. Yitang Cheng asked frantically, Sister Yan, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Yitang Cheng's tone was incredibly concerned. That was absolutely not the attitude of a driver towards his employer. I instinctively clenched my fists. The steamy scenes I had just watched replayed in my mind. For a second, Liu Ruyan was also taken aback. She coughed slightly to hide her embarrassment. Then she spoke up. It's not me. G. Boda isn't feeling well. Besides, don't call me sister from now on. Call me Ms. Liu. But Yitang Cheng didn't look scared at all. He casually joked, All right, Ms. Liu. I promise I won't call you that carelessly anymore. Those two dared to flirt openly right in front of me. Their eyes met as if they wanted to melt into each other. I doubled over once more, vomiting violently. I threw up until there was nothing left but bitter bile. On the way to the hospital, I didn't say a word, just stared blankly out the window. Liu Ruyan huddled herself deep into my embrace. Through the rearview mirror, I caught a glimpse of Yitang Cheng's jealous eyes, as if they were spitting fire. I frowned slightly. Liu Ruyan thought my stomach pain was torturing me. She was so pained that she burst out sobbing. She sobbed, G. Boda, if you didn't have to follow me to every film set, enduring such irregular meals and going hungry, you wouldn't have such severe stomach issues. Not until the nurse finished hooking up my IV drip and saw that I had fallen into a deep sleep did Liu Ruyan finally feel somewhat at ease. She sat by the bed tightly holding, my cold hand constantly breathing on it to warm it up, until the nurse came in to report that the doctor wanted to speak with her. She reluctantly let go of my hand. Once the door was shut, I slowly opened my eyes. The nurse whispered, Ms. Liu really loves you a lot. Her voice was filled with admiration. She continued, When I was giving you the needle earlier, she cried as if she were the one in pain. I remained silent, not bothering to reply. The nurse kept rambling. She even confessed her love to you in public like that. Mr. G, you must truly cherish Ms. Liu. Hearing those words, I only felt in numb indifference. Liu Ruyan is such a great actress. Nothing has changed in 8 years. The doctor said slowly, Your husband has severe gastric ulcers and esophageal reflux. Irregular eating habits or catching a cold will lead to intense vomiting and stomach cramps. If not treated immediately, there's a high chance it will progress to stomach cancer. At the mention of stomach cancer, Liu Ruyan furrowed her brows deeply. She insisted, Use the best medicine for him. Then, with an anxious look, she returned to the hospital room. As the door opened before I could hide my disgust, she asked, G. Boda, when did your stomach issues become so severe? The doctor said. I looked up slightly and met Liu Ruyan's gaze, which was full of concern. Her eyes were filled with worry and restlessness. I truly couldn't believe that all of this was fake, that she was just acting. But if it was real, then why? Could she so casually betray me right under my nose? Liu Ruyan sensed my mood was off. She thought I was afraid because of my illness, so she hurriedly wiped her tears and forced a comforting smile. She said, It's okay, G. Boda. I've told the doctor to use the best medicine. Let's work on getting you better. You still have to take me around the world. I once longed so desperately to see the vast world with Liu Ruyan, to catch the sunrise together in Aranya, watch the glorious sunset in California, admire the great waterfalls in Zambia. Go to Niyama Island to see the magical blue tears. But now, I feel she is completely unworthy. Those beautiful sights shouldn't be tainted by her presence. I said coldly, Liu Ruyan, the investors, just sent an invitation. Let's go watch the deep love of Ji and Liu together. This movie was written by a loyal fan based on the two of us, as a touching love story. The film rights were bought by a studio to adapt it into this movie. Even the theme song was composed and performed by me. Liu Ruyan had been so busy with Yitang Cheng lately that she had long forgotten about this. She hurriedly called her assistant. Cancel all my work schedules for the next 2 days. I have other plans. After hanging up, she hugged me again. Boda, I'll always be by your side like this. Promise me you'll take good care of yourself. Talk to me if anything is bothering you, okay? I didn't show any emotion on my face, just gave a slight perfunctory nod. From the reflection in the hospital room's glass door, I saw Liu Ruyan take out her phone and stay on the WeChat screen. She double-tapped to zoom in on the photos the other guy sent. They were all unspeakably vulgar images. Then she typed 2 words. Wait for me. I closed my eyes tight. Dense pain surrounded me as if to tear my soul to pieces. Liu Ruyan suppressed a smile, gently helping me lie back on the bed. She said, Boda, just rest and get well. I'll go home and get some of your things. The doctor said you should stay for observation for a few days. Before leaving, she tried to kiss me, but I coldly avoided it. I said, just go. I'm sleepy. Not long after she left, Yitang Cheng sent a short video. I didn't even need to click on it to know how scandalous the content inside was. I silently downloaded those photos and saved them, tossing them into the same secret album as all the ones before. Yitang Cheng's WeChat message window popped up again. He wrote, did you think using morality to bind her? Or faking an illness would keep her by your side? I turned off the phone that was vibrating non-stop. I didn't have the energy to care about his provocations anymore, because I've already decided to leave this place, and I won't let anything shake my resolve to go. Not anymore. I wonder if Liu Ruyan will feel regret or pain when she finds out I've disappeared. For the first time in my life, I actually want to see the person I once loved so much suffer in absolute agony. During the film premiere, Liu Ruyan came to the hospital early that morning to pick me up. She even acted cute to make me wear a matching couple outfit with her. She linked her arm tightly with mine as we sat in the front row. Fans kept running up to ask for her autograph. A fan confessed, your story makes me believe in true love again. Could we take a photo together? Liu Ruyan smiled and skillfully declined, I'm so sorry. My husband isn't feeling very well today. But I stood up abruptly and said, it's fine. Liu Ruyan immediately snuggled close to my chest and made a sweet finger heart gesture towards the camera. The movie officially began. The first scene was her being bullied by the school punks. I couldn't help but let out a bitter sigh. I truly never imagined that the kind girl I risked my life to protect at any cost would turn into such a cold-blooded liar today. The movie quickly progressed to the scene where I confessed to her. In the audience, fans cheered enthusiastically once again. Liu Ruyan's phone kept vibrating incessantly. She kept rejecting the calls over and over again, but the person on the other end was persistent, calling until they got their way. She started to look restless. Her legs were fidgeting, crossing and uncrossing constantly. After hanging up once more, she leaned close to my ear and whispered. She said, Boda, the director is calling me. Let me step out for a moment to take this. I'll be right back. I watched her in those towering high heels as she hurried out of the screening room, almost tripping on the perfectly flat carpet. I stiffly turned around and looked down at my phone screen. A message appeared. Boda, look up to your right. Startled, I looked in that direction. The corner of the dark red velvet curtain on the right was being lifted slightly. It was Yitang Cheng. He was actually wearing the exact same couple outfit as mine. Looking at me with a defiant raise of his eyebrows, his face was full of a sneering, mocking grin. He mouthed 2 words at me. Serves you right. And in the very next second, a slender, soft hand was placed on his chest, caressing him non-stop. On the finger that just brushed by was the limited edition sapphire ring I had once given to Liu Ruyan. The movie on the screen continued, but at this moment I couldn't see or hear anything anymore. My head was filled only with the image of 2 bodies entwined right behind that thin curtain. The scandalous scene felt like it was unfolding right before my eyes. About half an hour later, Yitang Cheng sent a message. The soundtrack sounds pretty good. But she said she prefers it when I call her a little slut instead. What do you think? The match was a high-resolution photo. Liu Ruyan lay beneath Yitang Cheng, her eyes glazed with lust. A bitter shimmering saliva still lingered at the corner of her mouth. My hands gripped the phone so hard that my knuckles turned white. Dull stomach pains set in. The movie was nearing its end. Liu Ruyan hurriedly returned. She asked, Boda, Why you look so pale? Are you feeling unwell? She knelt before me, looking at me with a face full of concern, but I looked at her slightly loose collar and saw bite marks of various sizes. I thought to myself in confusion, Liu Ruyan, aren't you afraid? Thinking that, I unconsciously blurted it out. She asked, Jiboda, what are you saying? What should I be afraid of? I thought to myself, afraid of karma. The premiere ended. Thunderous applause rang out in the theater. Rian linked her arm with mine as we walked from the front row toward the exit. Flashbulbs were constantly flashing. The crowd around us was buzzing with gossip. I heard the great movie queen Liu Ruyan is a hopeless romantic, and now I'm seeing it with my own eyes. Do you see the watch on her fiancé's wrist? There's only one like it in the world. Amidst the exaggerated admiration behind me, I took off that fortune-worth watch and casually tossed it next to a trash can. What's the use of it being expensive? The hands are always 30 seconds slow. Someone called out, Sir, you dropped your watch. Yi Dengcheng suddenly appeared at the door. Liu Ruyan's expression changed. The arm linked with mine suddenly stiffened. Then she calmly said, I told A Cheng to come. I thought you'd be tired, so I asked him to drive us home. Don't you like that watch anymore? It's okay. I'll buy a new one for my husband. The crowd from the party began to filter out. Everyone passing by glanced back at us. I pointed to the watch in the trash and said, A Cheng, in giving you that watch. Someone also noticed that Yi Deng Cheng was wearing an outfit very similar to mine. It even looked like a matching couple's outfit with Liu Ruyan. Yi Deng Cheng looked resentfully at Liu Ruyan, but she didn't pay any attention. Just kept her arm linked with mine and walked straight ahead. Because of the matching outfit issue, Liu Ruyan naturally didn't let Yi Deng Cheng drive us home. On the way back, Liu Ruyan explained, I bought the first set in the wrong size, so I just gave it to little brother A Cheng. Who would have thought he'd be so ignorant as to wear it out? If you don't like it, I'll fire him when we get home and hire a new driver. I kept looking out the car window, not responding. I knew Liu Ruyan was waiting for me to speak up for Yi Deng Cheng, so she could then reluctantly keep him on. A brief silence. Only the sound of two people breathing could be heard in the car. Liu Ruyan observed my expression, and seeing nothing unusual, she finally began to relax. She said, but you know, my career is on the rise right now. Having bad people around will affect my future work. A Cheng is actually quite good at his job. I'll let it slide this time, but I'll dock a month's pay as a warning. Jiboda, what do you think? I turned my head to look at the woman I once loved deeply. My gaunt face was reflected in her dark pupils. When exactly did the scales of her love tip toward another man? She seemed about to continue, but I interrupted. I think that's fine. Only 5 days left until next Monday. Trash should be thrown in the bin. Rotten lover only deserves to be there too. In the middle of the night, Liu Ruyan softly tiptoed out of the room. A moment later, the rustling of clothes rubbing together came from downstairs. I opened my eyes in the darkness. I walked downstairs and stopped in front of the garage door. Separated by the door, the muffled, heavy breathing of a man and a woman intertwined and reached my ears. Sis, why did you only get here now? I have to punish you severely. Yi Deng Cheng thrust aggressively and asked, Sis, am I better or is he? Liu Ruyan's voice broke. She answered, Of course you are. I leaned against the wall to stay upright, the muscles at the corner of my mouth trembling uncontrollably. I clenched my fists to suppress the surge of rage that made me want to beat that man to death. I thought I had accepted the truth, but when I actually felt Liu Ruyan's betrayal, it felt like an invisible hand was squeezing my heart, making it hard to breathe. Liu Ruyan and I have been together since we were 17. I will never forget her 18th birthday, the way her eyes brimmed with tears when she accepted my confession. At that time, I felt the ultimate happiness, believing I had found the true love of my life. Looking back now, it's just ironic. Noises in the room gradually died down. Liu Ruyan said, Who gave you permission to appear in front of Jiboda today? You have to be more careful from now on, if he finds out about us. I let out a bitter laugh. It turns out Liu Ruyan still remembers me. Yi Deng Cheng's voice rang out, Sorry, sis. I just miss you too much. Besides, didn't you say, you like it when I possess you everywhere? There were thousands of people behind that curtain today. Exciting, right? Shall we try the park next time? Liu Ruyan wrapped her legs around his waist again. Cooed. You're just full of tricks. Yi Deng Cheng lightly bit her earlobe and asked, Well, do you like it? Liu Ruyan moaned softly. Quiet down. Don't wake Jiboda. Don't worry, he's sleeping like the dead. It's been 6 months, and he hasn't noticed you lying under me every night. Amidst the gasps of a new round of passion, I walked back to my room step by step. I couldn't sleep at all, and began to pack my personal belongings. Once you decide to disappear, you must do so completely. I reminisced about my 8 years with Liu Ruyan. When I was 17, she gave me a white shirt, saying I looked even more like a nerd in it. On the day she was bullied, I was wearing this very shirt while protecting her. Later, the collar frayed and the fabric yellowed, but I still couldn't bear to throw it away. For my 18th birthday, Liu Ruyan gave me a guitar. On that birthday, I played that guitar and used the song Can't Help Falling in Love to confess to her. At age 20, we went to see the ocean in Hawaii and took hundreds of souvenir photos on the sand. In every single picture, we were smiling so sweetly. At 22, she won a major award and bought a deserted island, naming it Ji Liu Island. At 25, witnessed by family and friends, I proposed to her. There were countless other gifts she had given me. She was always very generous to me. I packed everything up one by one and listed them on a second-hand platform. Starting price, 1 yuan. At the break of dawn, hurried footsteps echoed from downstairs. Liu Ruyan's hair was a mess, and she had even lost a slipper while running. She asked, "Jiboda, why are you selling everything I gave you? I saw someone bought that 2 million yuan. Watch for just 50 yuan. Jiboda, what on earth is going on?" The worry and anxiety in her eyes weren't fake. Her intuition was telling her that I was acting strange. I replied indifferently, "It's nothing. I saw news about an orphanage on Weibo and wanted to do my small part to help those kids. I've already contacted a charity. All the proceeds from the sales will be donated to the orphanage." Liu Ruyan finally breathed a sigh of relief. She buried her head in my chest, her voice almost trembling. She said, "Jiboda, you scared the life out of me. I thought you were planning to leave me. If you want to do charity, just tell me. Is 10 million yuan enough for a direct donation? As long as you're happy, we can spend as much as it takes." I no longer had the heart to judge whether her words were true or false. Liu Ruyan, those kids are like me, with no parents. But they aren't as lucky as I am, because they didn't get to meet a virtuous wife like you. Liu Ruyan didn't catch the irony in my words. Her heart was just filled with guilt. She made up her mind to fire Yi Dengcheng after the wedding and spend the rest of her life loving only me. She said, "Jiboda, then let's host a charity gala. Invite famous directors and actors and encourage them to donate generously." My reaction wasn't as excited as Liu Ruyan had imagined. I replied indifferently, "As long as you're happy." The charity gala was set for the following evening. On that day, Liu Ruyan used the excuse of being busy with preparations and didn't come home. Yi Dengcheng, as her driver, naturally stayed close by her side. I didn't even bother asking, because Yi Dengcheng would send me extremely detailed updates on his and her schedule. Sure enough, they went to the park, into the bushes by the lotus pond on the hillside. She said after she marries you, she has to stay pure for you. So lately she's been making me do it like crazy. She's about to drain me dry. Jiboda, do you really think she can be with only you? How can someone who has tasted delicacies ever go back to plain porridge? I numbly scrolled through, my temples throbbing. And then an even more fatal shock arrived. A voice message was sent. "Hey Cheng, I'm pregnant with your child. You must keep this a secret. Don't tell anyone. When the baby is born, I'll have them take you as their godfather. It'll be like returning to the family roots." Liu Ruyan's voice stabbed into my heart like 1,000 needles. Liu Ruyan was actually pregnant. No wonder her eating habits had become so bland recently. There was even a photo of Yi Dengcheng taking Liu Ruyan for a prenatal checkup. He was carefully supporting Liu Ruyan, placing his hand on her lower abdomen, looking just like a loving married couple. 2 days ago, a reporter caught Liu Ruyan entering the maternity ward, causing a stir on Weibo. The identity of the scandal's female lead was almost exposed. Because of this, she held a press conference and brought me, still in pain, to the scene. Before the cameras, she interlaced her fingers with mine and announced we would marry at the end of the month. She said, "I've always wanted to give Jiboda a child. Years of filming action scenes in cold water have affected my health, so I wasn't in very good health. Recent hospital visits were to nourish my body in hopes of getting pregnant soon." At that time, I actually believed her. The journalists praised her to the heavens. The news of Liu Ruyan seeking a child for love, ready to give up her career, is still on the hot search list today. I numbly turned off my phone. Fortunately, only 4 days left. The charity gala went ahead as scheduled. I appeared at the scene in a finely tailored suit, my demeanor no less impressive than any male actor. Some directors even proactively handed me their business cards, inviting me to play the lead in their films. A smile remained on my lips as I waved them off, declining each one. But Liu Ruyan noticed that. My usually calm eyes were like a still lake. Her Jiboda no longer had that spark in his eyes. Anxiety struck her again. She approached and tried to take my hand, but I avoided her. I said, "So many people are waiting. We should start the donation ceremony first." Liu Ruyan's hand hung empty in the air. She immediately clapped for attention and announced the start of the ceremony. Amidst the boisterous applause, Liu Ruyan invited everyone to our wedding. She said, "In just half a month, it will be G Boda's and my wedding. We sincerely invite you all to witness our happy moment." After the ceremony ended, Liu Ruyan told the driver to take me home. She said the party won't be over for a while. We need to entertain the guests a bit longer. "Hubby, your stomach isn't great. I've told the maid to cook porridge. Remember to eat when you get home." I nodded and got into the car. But the car had only been gone for 5 minutes when a message from Yi Deng-cheng arrived. He said, "There's a good show to watch." I decisively told the driver to turn back, told him I left something at the banquet hall. "Just wait for me in the parking garage. No need to tell Miss Liu." I returned to the banquet hall. The solemn atmosphere from earlier had vanished. In its place was deafening music and a crowd lost in heavy drinking. With one glance, I saw Liu Ruyan, nestled in Yi Deng-cheng's arms. Those present seemed all too accustomed to their intimacy. Just a moment ago, some big director was wishing me well, but now he was leering and teasing Liu Ruyan. A virtuous wife at home, but so wild and unrestrained outside. Any man who marries you is truly unlucky. I even saw Liu Ruyan's biological sister, Liu Rushu, there. The one who used to call me brother-in-law so affectionately was now chatting animatedly with Yi Deng-cheng. She said, "Brother-in-law, is the baby in my sister's belly a boy or a girl?" Liu Ruyan turned and sternly corrected her sister, "Don't call him that recklessly. Your only brother-in-law is G Boda." Her sister curled her lip. "I know you love G Boda to death. I'm just saying this while he's not around. Besides, A Cheng isn't an outsider. And doesn't Mom really like A Cheng too?" Hearing this, I felt as if I'd been struck by lightning. It turns out Liu Ruyan's mother also knew about Yi Deng-cheng's existence. It turns out I was the only one being led by the nose, like a fool. Spun around by their entire family. Liu Ruyan snapped back. "Whether G Boda is here or not, he is still your brother-in-law. Don't call others that ever again." The sister replied listlessly, "I got it." "Sir, do you want to go inside?" I waved my hand and ran off under the suspicious gaze of the service staff. The noise at the door caught Liu Ruyan's attention. She seemed to catch a glimpse of a figure that looked just like me. She suddenly stood up from her chair, shoved Yi Deng-cheng's hand away, and chased after me to the door. The hallway was empty, not a soul in sight. Could she have been seeing things? She called a staff member over to ask if they'd seen a well-dressed man pass by. The waiter thought for a moment and shook his head. He had indeed seen a man, but with a crooked tie, messy hair, and pale face, he certainly couldn't be described as well-dressed. Still uneasy, she called the driver. He replied, "Miss Liu, Mr. G has been in the car the whole time. We're almost home." Liu Ruyan returned to the banquet hall, her mind completely elsewhere. Even though both the staff and the driver denied it, that figure looked too much like G Boda. She really didn't dare imagine what would happen if G Boda caught her with Yi Deng-cheng. "Sis, what's wrong?" Yi Deng-cheng, like a wild beast in heat, leaned down. Liu Ruyan had no mood to dally with him. She needed to get home immediately to confirm that G Boda hadn't really come back. But Yi Deng-cheng's skilled hands were wandering freely between her thighs, stirring her desires. She reassured herself they were getting married at the end of the month, and everything would be fine. Once lust is aroused, it's hard to pull back. She wrapped her arms around Yi Deng-cheng's neck. Understanding her intent, he picked her up. Under the knowing gazes of the crowd, the two entered the private room next door. The car stopped smoothly in the garage. I took out my phone. Yi Deng-cheng was requesting a video call. I dismissed the driver and turned on the screen recording. I only heard a moan echo. "A Cheng, be gentle." It was Liu Ruyan's rapturous voice. Yi Deng-cheng replied, "Sis, is he as strong as me?" As he said that, Yi Deng-cheng's eyes stared directly at me behind the lens. Early the next morning, I was woken by a scent so strong it was suffocating. The entire room was filled with blooming lilies. I was actually allergic to lily pollen. I wanted to cry for help, but my throat felt choked. No words would come out. Yi Deng-cheng stood amidst the forest of lilies, looking at me with a face full of malice. He said, "Mr. G, her latest movie won an award. Don't you think the flowers I prepared for her are beautiful?" I just wanted to open the window, but I couldn't move my legs. A burning sensation in my eyes accompanied the suffocation, and I collapsed right by the stairs. When I woke up, it was the next day. Lying in the hospital, I still felt a slight tightness in my chest. Red rashes were dotted across my exposed neck. Liu Ruyan's hair was disheveled, Dark circles were prominent under her eyes. At the film set this morning, she felt a wave of intense anxiety. After greeting the director, she rushed straight home. As soon as she opened the door, she saw me lying there, unconscious. On the way to the hospital, her fear reached its peak. Seeing my pale face, closed eyes, and the dense rashes on my body, she burst into tears of pain. She said, "Jiboda, nothing can happen to you. I can't live without you." I was wheeled into the emergency room. Liu Ruyan turned around and delivered a thunderous slap to Yi Dangcheng's face. She screamed, "Jiboda is allergic to lilies. Didn't you know? Are you trying to kill him?" Yi Dangcheng held his face, feigning innocence. He said, "Sis, I was so happy you won the award that I momentarily forgot Mr. Ji was allergic. I just wanted you to feel my congratulations." The moment you stepped into the house, seeing that Yi Dangcheng meant well and that his face was already swollen from her slap, she couldn't bring herself to pursue it further. She had stayed by my side all night without closing her eyes once. She only fell asleep when dawn broke. "Jiboda, you're awake. You really scared the life out of me." Her voice was hoarse as she collapsed onto my chest, sobbing uncontrollably. I let her hold me and whispered, "Was I almost dead?" Liu Ruyan's body stiffened. After a long while, she spoke. "Jiboda, it's all my fault. I told Cheng to go home and prepare a bit for tonight's celebration. Who knew he would forget about your lily allergy?" I silently looked at Liu Ruyan. Seeing that her pain didn't seem faked, I asked, "Where is Yi Dangcheng?" She replied, "He knows he caused a disaster. I just slapped him. He's in the next room now, probably trying to pull some self-harm pity stunt." She said, "Jiboda, Cheng was just careless. I've scolded and hit him. For the next few days, I'll have him lay low in the countryside, so he won't be around to annoy you or make you more upset." Even at this point, she was still finding ways to cover for her lover. I asked, "Liu Ruyan, will you ever love someone else?" My sudden question made her start and tremble. The unease and fear in her heart flared up again. Lately, she always felt I had changed, but she couldn't quite put her finger on how. I silently looked at her. The woman before me was the one I had loved for 8 years. Thinking that I would be the one to destroy her, feelings were inevitably complicated. Because of that, I wanted to know if she was truly remorseful, if she was willing to be honest about her relationship with Yi Dangcheng. But as they say, old habits die hard. Sure enough, she replied, "How could that happen? I'll only ever love you in this life. I'm sticking to you for good, and you're not allowed to love any other woman either, okay?" She said it so sincerely, as if she had never done a single thing to wrong me. I gave her a chance, but she didn't know how to take it. Then don't blame me for turning heartless. Since Yi Dangcheng wanted my life, let's just see who survives this scorched earth battle. Seeing my expression soften slightly, Liu Ruyan leaned against me and began reminiscing about our sweet memories. There was a period when, due to the nature of Liu Ruyan's work, we were often apart. Yet no matter how late or tired we were, we called each other every day. Later, Liu Ruyan begged me to quit my job, saying, "Music is such hard work. I can't bear to see it. Are you tired? Besides, I have so many movies to film now. It's enough to support both of us." Unable to resist her pouting and pleading, I reluctantly disbanded the band and gave up my musical dreams to be by Liu Ruyan's side wholeheartedly, accepting the role of the man behind her. Because of that, my friends often teased me for being a house husband, and some felt sorry for me. I clearly had so much musical talent. But I said that when two people are together, one must always step up and make a sacrifice. I didn't have the heart to make her give up the acting career she loves so much. I listened to her in silence, but the phone in her pocket kept vibrating incessantly. She didn't even glance at it before silencing it immediately. But a second later, it started ringing again. Finally, she had no choice but to answer it, looking helpless. Standing a good distance away, I couldn't hear what the person on the other end was saying. I only watched the transformation in Liu Ruyan's eyes. Those eyes, which were once so clear, were gradually being consumed by the flames of desire. Before the call even ended, I received a message from Yi Dangcheng. He said, "Brother Ji, she felt so much pity for me after she hit me. I'm inviting her over right now, to your wedding suite to make love. Care to guess if she'll come find me? She just told me she was going back to her hometown, but it turns out she was sneaking off to the new house." Just as I finished reading, Liu Ruyan approached with a remorseful face. She said, "I'm sorry, darling. The crew suddenly has some extra scenes to shoot." I replied nonchalantly, "Liu Ruyan, you are a film queen. I want to ask you, can love be acted out too?" Upon hearing this question, Liu Ruyan's heart suddenly tightened. But then she thought she was just being paranoid. She smiled, "Of course it can. Otherwise, how could there be so many movies that make people so hopelessly immersed?" I asked, and what about you? How are your acting skills? While being with me, is that also an act? She acted cute, taking my hand and swaying it back and forth. She said, who could possibly act for 8 years straight? Even a lie would have become the truth by now. If I were that good, I would have won an Oscar long ago. 8 years. I believe she once loved me. Perhaps she even loves me deeply right now. But that cannot be a reason for forgiveness. Not after she has betrayed this relationship. I've always understood that one must know when to let go. Liu Ruyan couldn't fathom the look in my eyes at this moment. Before, they were full of passionate love for her. But now, there is only emptiness. Suddenly, she was afraid to leave. She had a powerful premonition that she was about to lose me forever. But then, Yiteng Cheng called her phone. On the other end, he spoke in a mocking tone. Nuna, I've just learned a new trick. Want to try it? The wedding invitations have already been sent out anyway. What else could possibly happen? She suppressed the anxiety in her heart, whispering, I promise I'll finish filming early. I absolutely won't miss our wedding. You should rest well and stay healthy too. Still waiting to be your bride. I watched her figure as she turned and walked away. Thinking to myself, Liu Ruyan, goodbye. 3 seconds later, Yiteng Cheng called me. This was the first time he had actually called, to provoke and challenge me. I'm lying on your wedding bed right now. I even prepared some bunny-themed lingerie for her. Go ahead and be as angry as you want. If she can leave you like this, then on the wedding day, with just one phone call from me, I wonder if she'll abandon the groom. Haha. Throughout Yiteng Cheng's countless previous provocations, I never once responded to him. But everything is about to come to an end. I spoke slowly. Yiteng Cheng, you're nothing more than a jumping clown. The groom's spot is yours now. I don't want Liu Ruyan anymore. Liu Ruyan was gone for 3 whole days. During that time, messages from Yiteng Cheng never stopped. Liu Ruyan's legs were wrapped around Yiteng Cheng's hips, supple as if she had no bones. The wedding bed was littered with the protection they had used. I saved everything, packaged it, and sent it to the paparazzi. I also compiled all the discrepancies in Liu Ruyan's finances into a formal report and sent it to the official mailbox on Monday morning. After finishing everything, I stepped into a black luxury sedan. As I passed by Liu Ruyan's personal van, I took one last look at Liu Ruyan. Then I put on my sunglasses and said, let's go. By the time the paparazzi released the evidence of her affair, I was already on a plane to a foreign land. From this moment on, she will be ruined and disgraced, and I am welcoming a brand new life. In the wedding suite of Liu Ruyan and me, a scene of passion unfolded. Liu Ruyan was crying and pleading, but she received no mercy from Yiteng Cheng. He was acting with sheer brutality, as if he wanted to crush the person beneath him. After a soft moan, Liu Ruyan's legs fell limp from his waist. Liu Ruyan pointed at the bruises on her body, covering her skin. Acting cute, she asked, what's wrong with you today? You don't know how to treat a lady gently at all. Panting, Yiteng Cheng said, in just a few days, you'll have to marry Ji Boda. If I don't go wild now, I won't get another chance. Liu Ruyan looked at the mess on the nightstand, her face darkening. She bit her lip. Yiteng Cheng, warning you, stop playing games. Clean all of this up for me. Yiteng Cheng, thinking about the photos and videos he successfully sent, had a glint of rising ambition in his eyes. He leaned down again and hugged Liu Ruyan tightly, asking, have you never thought about dumping him, to marry me instead? Liu Ruyan's gaze immediately turned ice cold. She pushed him away and warned, never. The person I love is Ji Boda. You aren't even worth one of his fingers. Don't start daydreaming, Yiteng Cheng. What good is it if Liu Ruyan loves Ji Boda? Ji Boda has known everything for a long time. They've been sneaking around under his nose for half a year. Does he still love her? Liu Ruyan said, as long as you don't cause trouble, I'll give you a large sum of money after I marry him. It'll be enough for you to get married and have kids. Yiteng Cheng's kisses spread from the corner of her lips, all the way down. It wasn't until the next morning that Liu Ruyan finally left Yiteng Cheng's embrace. During a break in filming, Liu Ruyan took out her phone, which was on silent mode. She was surprised that besides a few work-related messages, there wasn't a single message from me. She felt a bit uneasy, so she messaged me first. Boda, I miss you so much. But without exception, every message went unanswered. She looked at her full signal bars, and a faint sense of dread rose in her heart. The phone rang for a long time. Once she finally heard me say hello, her racing heart finally began to settle down. She asked, Boda, why haven't you been answering my messages? At that moment, I had just landed in Austria. She asked again, Boda, where are you? Why aren't you replying to me? I said, I was just out for a little run. Is something wrong? Liu Ruyan replied tenderly, the extra scenes are almost finished. Will you go on a trip with me after I'm done? Please. I gave a brief and said, next Monday is your birthday. I've already prepared a gift for you. Liu Ruyan asked, full of anticipation, Boda, what kind of gift did you get for me? I replied, gift only has meaning if you open it yourself. Just focus on your work. I'll be waiting for you at home. Liu Ruyan went on a long rant of sweet romantic words that made me feel absolutely nauseated. If it weren't for the fact that my residency papers still needed 2 more days to process, I wouldn't have even bothered to answer her call. I patiently humored her for a few moments. Only then did Liu Ruyan's anxiety truly fade away. She was convinced that I would absolutely never leave her, no matter what unforgivable mistakes she might have made. Right after hanging up, Yitang Cheng immediately placed a video call. Behind Yitang Cheng was an entire set of BDSM toys. Liu Ruyan blushed with embarrassment. She bit her lip. Master, wait for me. By now, she had forgotten all about her duties as an actress. Without a word to anyone, she left the set and threw herself into the arms of her lover. The weekend was Liu Ruyan's birthday. She said she wanted to come home and celebrate it with me. But she was only halfway there. When Yitang Cheng called, claiming his appendix was acting up, Liu Ruyan turned her car around and rushed him to the hospital. After the exam, it turned out there was no immediate danger. Liu Ruyan patiently comforted him. The doctor said it's just chronic appendicitis. A few days of injections and you'll be fine. Just tell me if you need anything. I'll have someone bring it over to you. Yitang Cheng gripped her hand tightly and wouldn't let go. He said, Nuna, you're about to get married. Can't you at least let me spend this last birthday with you? A flash of desire crossed deep in Liu Ruyan's eyes. But she still remembered that Ji Boda was waiting for her at home. So she said, it's just a birthday. He'll come find you after I am done celebrating with him. Just wait for me a bit. After saying that, she brushed off Yitang Cheng's hand and hurried toward the exit. Yitang Cheng wasn't willing to give up. He jumped out of bed and blocked her path. He said, Nuna, I just bought a nurse outfit. Will you wear it for me? As he spoke, his hand started wandering downward. Liu Ruyan let out a soft moan. Yitang Cheng swept her up into his arms. He said, Ms. Nurse, come and give me a physical exam right now. A short while later, the sounds of a woman's moans and a man's heavy breathing filled the room. A patient in the next room wanted to ask Liu Ruyan for a photo. When they pushed open the door, the person was stunned by the scene before them. Blushing and retreating, the person, a fan of Liu Ruyan, was certain he had mistaken her for someone else. But the man who was making love to her clearly wasn't her fiancé. In his confusion, he secretly took out his phone and started recording. Yitang Cheng was indeed a skillful lover. His skills in bed were incredibly seasoned, leaving Liu Ruyan completely captivated. After a bout of passion, it was nearly dawn. Liu Ruyan reluctantly bid farewell to Yitang Cheng. In the car, the night wind blowing through the window helped her clear her head somewhat. She began to regret not being able to resist the temptation. She had promised Jiboda should be home for her birthday, but there were only 15 minutes left until midnight. Her birthday was almost over. Liu Ruyan floored the gas, speeding back to the villa. She didn't even have time to close the car door before rushing headlong into the house. Jiboda, I'm home. I'm so sorry. The crew had something urgent come up. The entire villa was eerily silent, except for her heavy panting. There wasn't another sound. She turned on every single light, scanning the whole house. An overwhelming sense of dread began to fill her mind. Liu Ruyan stood frozen at the stairs for a moment, before forcing her stiff legs to climb to the second floor. The bedroom door was open. She immediately spotted a gift box on the bed. She rushed to open it. Inside was nothing but used protection and an ultrasound report from the hospital. Liu Ruyan's head felt like it had exploded with a bang. The world went dark before her eyes. Usually so calm and composed, she was now shaking uncontrollably. With trembling hands, she pulled a small slip of paper from the bottom of the box. It was in my handwriting. Yitang Cheng's offspring. I'd help the two of you clean it up. Don't mention it. Goodbye. Her legs suddenly gave out. Liu Ruyan slumped onto the floor. A long time passed before she finally took out her phone to shakily call my number. On the other end, only a cold, mechanical voice echoed through the silent night. The number you have dialed is currently unavailable. Please try again later. Dong, dong, dong. The clock downstairs struck midnight. Her birthday had officially come to a close. Mr. G, all the paperwork is complete. Here are your identification documents. Welcome to Austria. I gazed at the distant Alps. This truly is an ideal place for a new beginning. I smiled and said thank you. All my troubles were now thousands of miles away. Little Ruyan stumbled downstairs, started the car, and floored it away. Yitang Cheng had just drifted off to sleep when the hospital room door was kicked wide open. Yitang Cheng frowned and opened his eyes. He was about to curse out whoever dared to wake him, but then he saw Liu Ruyan had returned. He smirked. Nuna, haven't you had enough yet? He knew it. There was no way Liu Ruyan would let him stay lonely tonight. She hurried back to find him as soon as her birthday party was over. Sooner or later, she would belong to him completely and become his wife. He reached out to hug Liu Ruyan, only to be met with a thunderous slap across the face. Yitang Cheng was in disbelief. He touched his burning cheek. He asked, "Have you gone crazy? Why did you hit me?" Liu Ruyan's eyes were blazing with fury. She pointed at his face and demanded, "Did you intentionally expose those filthy things to Ji Boda?" Yitang Cheng quickly denied it. "I didn't do anything." "You have to believe me. Why would I lie?" Liu Ruyan snatched Yitang Cheng's phone. At first glance, she saw the chat between him and Ji Boda. She tremblingly scrolled through it. The more she saw, the more her heart turned to ice. Photos, videos, recordings, and even screenshots of their messages. 2 months' worth of Yitang Cheng's provocations and bragging. Liu Ruyan slammed the phone onto the floor. She roared at him. "I warned you. Don't let Ji Boda find out about you. And yet you sent that filth to him. Just drop dead." As Liu Ruyan spoke, she grabbed the IV stand next to the bed and swung it directly at Yitang Cheng. Yitang Cheng couldn't dodge in time. The iron stand struck him squarely on the back. He groaned. "Nuna, how can you be so heartless? Are you trying to kill me?" The doctor on duty outside, the nurses, and people in other rooms heard the noise, and all rushed over to see what was going on. At first, no one was quite certain that the woman having a breakdown was the film queen, Liu Ruyan. But she herself shouted her own name out loud. In an instant, the whole building flocked to see the drama. Liu Ruyan truly wanted to beat Yitang Cheng to death, even at this very moment. When she was carrying his child in her womb, thinking of the baby, she suddenly recalled every time she made love with Yitang Cheng. She had always insisted on using protection. So how could she still be pregnant? If it wasn't Yitang Cheng's trickery, then who else could it be? Yitang Cheng had even accidentally bought a room full of lilies, nearly killing Ji Boda. Only now did she see Yitang Cheng's true malice. To her face, he acted innocent and indifferent, but behind her back, he was carrying out a vile scheme. The thought of it filled Liu Ruyan with unbearable pain. Boda must be so heartbroken. She had to drag Yitang Cheng in front of him, so he could personally explain to him that he had coerced her, that she hadn't been a willing participant, that it was all because she'd been brainwashed by Yitang Cheng. And Ji Boda would surely forgive her again. Yes, he will definitely forgive me. Liu Ruyan pointed at Yitang Cheng and yelled, "If you know what's good for you, stay put. When I find Boda, you'll get on your knees and beg for his forgiveness." Yitang Cheng had been beaten pretty badly, but he stubbornly refused to admit fault. "Nuna, I really didn't do anything. I truly love you." Yitang Cheng's affectionate gaze met Liu Ruyan's look of pure hatred, causing him to tremble involuntarily. Liu Ruyan replied to Yitang Cheng, "I only love Ji Boda. As for you, you're nothing but a scumbag. Did you think that by showing those things to Boda, I would marry you instead? Ever. I, Liu Ruyan, will absolutely never marry a man who only knows how to live off women." People outside began to point and whisper, the murmur growing louder by the second. Someone said, "No wonder she looks so familiar. It's the film queen. The guy on the bed must be her lover." Another said, "For a film queen, she really doesn't know how to behave." Yitang Cheng punched the bed in a fit of rage, gritting his teeth and wishing Ji Boda would just die somewhere. Liu Ruyan left a final threat and stormed out of the hospital room. She had to find Ji Boda at all costs, to explain everything clearly to him. But would her Boda truly forgive her? On her way out of the hospital, her phone suddenly started vibrating incessantly. It was Zhang Ji, her manager. After hearing what Sister Zhang said, Liu Ruyan asked, "What hot search?" Dazed, Liu Ruyan opened Weibo. Shocking, film queen Liu Ruyan having an affair with her driver. A movie within a movie. Pure White Lotus Liu Ruyan cheats, dumps ET. Shocking keywords were flooding the trending search rankings, and their positions were skyrocketing. Liu Ruyan slammed on the brakes, stopping the car in the middle of the road. She stared blankly at the photos and videos. Her blood felt like it was boiling. The netizens' comments below were even more colorful. Netizen comment, you can tell she's a green tea bitch just by looking at her. Pure white lotus my foot. She's more like a scheming black lotus me. This scandal is really blowing up. Goddess Liu Ruyan is being dragged through the mud this time. Some even dug up her Twitter X account. A goddess in public, but God knows what in private. It's absolutely nauseating. A few unknown actors even came forward to accuse her, claiming Liu Ruyan told them to accept the director's hidden rules. Netizens mocked. Liu Ruyan really is a treasure girl. The more you dig, the more interesting stuff you find. Her manager screamed over the phone, Liu Ruyan, you better give me a proper explanation right now. The cars behind her were honking their horns incessantly. Liu Ruyan furiously got out and kicked in the headlights of another car. The other driver wasn't someone to mess with either, and immediately called the police. Another headline appeared on Weibo's hot search. Film queen Liu Ruyan's arrogant disregard for the law, detained for blatant traffic violations. In the detention center, Liu Ruyan went into a frenzy, smashing furniture. She stubbornly refused to cooperate with the questioning. She screamed, "Give me back my phone right now." Husband is missing. The officer taking her statement had already seen the news of her affair with that driver on Weibo earlier. He felt nothing but contempt for a woman like her. The officer said coldly, "You reap what you sow. If I were your husband, I would never forgive you as long as I lived." Liu Ruyan finally suffered a complete breakdown. She fell to her knees, clutching her head and sobbing hysterically. She begged, "Please, let me go. I have to find Boda. I have to find him at all costs." Liu Ruyan was filled with agonizing regret, all because of one drunken night. When Yiteng Cheng was driving her home, he couldn't restrain himself and kissed her, and she hadn't rejected him. She used to think that just a kiss didn't count as cheating. Then she thought a hug was fine too. But eventually, the inevitable happened. Her boundaries were slowly eroded away. Over the course of 8 long years, Liu Ruyan had gone from a nameless extra, climbing the heights of fame step by step. As the film queen, she obviously had many suitors, but her heart had always belonged only to Ji Boda. She had never spared even a glance for anyone else. But Yiteng Cheng was so intensely passionate, a stark contrast to the always calm and reserved Ji Boda. His sweet words seemed to cast a spell on her soul. With just a bit of provocation, her entire body would turn soft and boneless. Yiteng Cheng was like a starving beast, frantically demanding her again and again right there in the car, until both were completely exhausted. After every time, she was filled with immense regret and fear. Regret for not resisting the temptation, and fear that this filth would be discovered by Ji Boda, because she truly, deeply loved him, and she couldn't bear to live without him. Liu Ruyan transferred a large sum of money to Yiteng Cheng, hoping he would vanish from her life forever. But Yiteng Cheng adamantly refused. He said he didn't want anything. He only begged to stay by her side. He said, "Nuna, I promise to behave and stay in my lane. I don't expect to be your husband. Just please don't kick me away." Liu Ruyan said, "But I already have a boyfriend, and we're about to get married." Yiteng Cheng sensed the hesitation in her voice. He reached around and hugged her waist. He said, "Nuna, you are a prestigious film queen, and a beautiful, wealthy woman. Times have changed. It's not like the old days. Isn't it perfectly normal to have a lover on the side?" He had seen right through Liu Ruyan's secret thoughts. And so, in the end, she let him persuade her. She felt that, as long as the man she eventually married was Ji Boda, then it wouldn't be considered an affair. It wouldn't be seen as betraying the vows they shared. Liu Ruyan only viewed Yiteng Cheng as a mere tool to relieve the stress of her work. She never imagined there would be any real consequence with him. But Yiteng Cheng wasn't wrong. Once you've grown accustomed to delicacies, how can you ever be content going back to plain porridge? And so his audacity grew day by day, until finally things spiraled down to this point. She muttered to herself, "Ji Boda, I really deserve to die." As for me, I slept soundly until noon. Humming a tune while washing up, I leisurely opened Weibo. Watching the search keywords constantly climbing the rankings, my heart surged with a sense of vengeful pleasure against Liu Ruyan, mixed with a lingering sorrow for an 8-year love that could never have a happy ending. Who would have thought the tides would turn so quickly in just one night? The fans who once screamed, "You're the best, Nuna," are now turning back to tear her apart in a frenzy. Fans have transformed into anti-fans. They are exposing Liu Ruyan's scandals, like her star syndrome on set, disappearing mid-shoot and bullying rookie actors, arbitrarily cutting other people's scenes, making the entire crew wait for her and her alone. I even saw someone post a video of Liu Ruyan slapping Yiteng Cheng furiously at the hospital. And just like that, the former film queen has officially fallen from grace. Her infamy is spreading far and wide, but none of this has anything to do with me anymore. I deleted my Weibo account. Logged out of every application I had ever registered in my name. I will erase every trace of the past to begin a new life with a clean slate. When Liu Ruyan was picked up by her manager from the traffic police station, it was already the next morning. She said, "Sister Zhang, can you arrange a press conference for me? I want to apologize to Ji Boda. I need to know where he is right now." In the span of just one night, Liu Ruyan had become gaunt, haggard, and miserable. Her manager gave her a look of utter disappointment. Then she said, "The most important thing right now is to clarify the relationship between you and that driver. As for Ji Boda, I'm already helping you look for him." Liu Ruyan tried to speak, but her manager cut her off and said, "If you don't apologize and clear everything up, then even if we find Ji Boda, do you really think the two of you have any chance left?" Those words jolted Liu Ruyan back to reality. She said, "Then arrange it quickly. I will cut ties with Yi Dengcheng immediately." Manager turned to offer some comfort. She said, "Don't be too hasty. Wait another 2 days. People nowadays only care for a few fleeting minutes. Wait for the public outcry to die down a bit, then it will still be in time to hold the press conference." Liu Ruyan closed her eyes and nodded. The urgent task now was to find Ji Boda as fast as possible. She would kneel down and beg Ji Boda to help her clarify the scandal at the conference. He surely wouldn't have the heart to destroy the acting career she was so proud of. Returning home, she looked at the empty villa. Liu Ruyan's heart was a tangled mess of emotions. Before moving here, the two of them had squeezed into a rundown shack of less than 50 square meters for 3 long years. Back then, when Liu Ruyan's career was just beginning, Ji Boda had disbanded his band to devote all his energy to taking care of her. When her auditions kept failing, and she was so discouraged she wanted to quit, it was Ji Boda who encouraged her countless times. "Ruyan, you're properly trained, and you have natural talent. I believe you will surely succeed." That year, on Ji Boda's birthday, Liu Ruyan had taken his hand and led him to the front of this villa. She said, "Ji Boda, this will be our home from now on." The two of them embraced tightly, dreaming together of a bright and radiant future. They walk hand in hand through the mall, picking out furniture, bit by bit turning a cold house into a warm nest. The house was still the same, but without Ji Boda, it had returned to its original coldness. Their wedding photo still hung in the middle of the living room. In the photo, Ji Boda smiled radiantly with happiness, but the look in her eyes was far from honest. Back then, she was in the heat of her affair with Yi Dengcheng. The moment the wedding photos were done, she rushed off without a break to go find him. At that time, had Ji Boda already noticed something was wrong? Her heart ached sharply. She lay on the bed, tears streaming down her face. Memories flooded back like a torrential storm. Suddenly, she spotted something in the trash can by the bed, a used condom. Every time after their trysts, Yi Dengcheng would throw it into the trash in the master bedroom. It was both a provocation and a boast. Yi Dengcheng. Just wait until she found Ji Boda. She would tear Yi Dengcheng apart right in front of him. Liu Ruyan took out her phone and tried calling Ji Boda a few more times, but it was always powered off. Desperate and out of options, she had to call each one of Ji Boda's friends, humbling herself to ask for his whereabouts. His friends snapped back, "How do you have the face to look for Ji Boda? Have you finished cleaning up your filthy mess?" "Liu Ruyan, I wasted my breath being happy for Ji Boda. I thought it was worth it for him to give up music for you. Turns out, in the end, it was all for nothing. Don't bother, I don't know where he is. And even if I did know, I would never tell a promiscuous woman like you." The phone was filled with harsh, ugly insults. Liu Ruyan listened in silence, unable to utter a single word in rebuttal. But in the end, everyone said they didn't know. No one knew where Ji Boda had gone. He was as if he had evaporated from the face of the earth, disappearing without a trace. Liu Ruyan even went as far as hiring private investigators. As long as she could find Ji Boda, she was willing to go bankrupt. Liu Ruxue said her sister had gone completely mad. "He's just one man, Ji Boda. Why does it absolutely have to be him?" The younger sister said, "Nuna, wake up. You're carrying Yi Dengcheng's child." She went berserk again, giving her sister a thunderous slap, and then kicked her out the door. Liu Ruyan's eyes were swollen from crying. She sat sobbing uncontrollably in the bedroom all night long. She muttered, "Ji Boda, where on earth are you?" Liu Ruyan suddenly remembered. There was a time when Ji Boda frequently read a magazine. I think its name was Music World. She searched the entire house, and finally found the magazine in a corner of the storage room, the one Ji Boda had thumbed through until it was worn out. She flipped through it night after night, as if she could still feel the warmth of his fingers on the pages. The page was open to the introduction of the University of Music and Performing Arts Vienna in Austria. Ji Boda had written many notes on that page, Liu Ruyan rushed straight to the airport, throwing her ID and passport onto the check-in counter. She said, "I want to buy a ticket for the earliest flight to Austria." "Madam, I am terribly sorry. You are currently restricted from leaving the country." Only then did Liu Ruyan learn that along with the infidelity scandal, her financial issues had also come under the scrutiny of the authorities. All real estate and vehicles in her name had been frozen. She watched in despair as the plane to Austria took off right before her eyes. Her G-Boda was slipping further and further away. I once planned a honeymoon with Liu Ruyan, and the first stop was supposed to be Vienna, Austria. Now Liu Ruyan has completely vanished from my world. The musical dream that once seemed so distant is now right in front of me. I successfully passed the preliminary round of the University of Music and Performing Arts Vienna, majoring in vocal studies and opera performance. Every day I bike between school and my apartment, using every moment to study German and dramatic arts, devoting all my strength to preparing for the next round. In early October, autumn arrives in Vienna. The whole city is draped in a somber classical style. In the late afternoon, I sit in a roadside cafe, enjoying the beautiful scenery outside the window. I take out my phone and send a video call request to my friends back home. The other end rings. "G-Boda, you brat, you finally remembered us? How is it? Are you doing okay?" I turn the camera around. My friends see the cathedral and the foreign streets, jostling to congratulate me. "G-Boda, I knew it, you're not that weak. When you set your mind to something, nothing is impossible." I haven't had many friends growing up, but each one of them is a bond spanning decades. When the news of Liu Ruyan's affair broke on Weibo, this group of friends was worried sick, terrified that I wouldn't be able to take it and would do something foolish. Now seeing the smile on my face through the screen and the light in my eyes, they know that in this game I have won an absolute victory. I stroll through the streets of Vienna, chatting animatedly with my friends. Beyond asking how I'm adjusting to life abroad, the rest of the time is spent talking about Liu Ruyan and Yi Deng-cheng. As the infidelity keywords for Liu Ruyan started to cool down, the company arranged a press conference for her. That day, the hall was packed inside and out. Reporters from all outlets were buzzing with energy, determined to snag a front-page scoop. The dark circles under Liu Ruyan's eyes were prominent. Her hair was a mess, and she was wearing an ill-fitting outfit. The moment she sat down, reporters scrambled to start asking questions. "Liu Ruyan, you've always built a pure White Lotus image before the public, but behind their backs you had a secret affair with your driver. Guarding this, what do you have to say to your fiancé and the fans who loved you? Speak up. The roles you've played in films were always loyal and deep characters. When playing those parts, did you feel any guilt at all? You and Mr. G-Boda were in love for 8 years. It should have been a perfect ending. Do you feel no regret?" In the past, these reporters had always been utterly respectful to Liu Ruyan. Interviews were always polite and gentle. They had never been as aggressive and pressuring as they were now. Liu Ruyan's face turned pale. She constantly shielded herself from the camera flashes. The manager standing beside her took the microphone and said, "Liu Ruyan and Yi Deng-cheng have no relationship whatsoever. We have reason to suspect Yi Deng-cheng used, manipulated and edited materials to fabricate videos and photos to blackmail our artist in order to achieve his goals. From now on, we will rely on the law to protect the rights of our artist." Liu Ruyan, prompted by her manager, finally spoke up. She said, "My relationship with Yi Deng-cheng is strictly professional. As for claims of intimacy, they are nothing but baseless rumors from the tabloids. My fiancé and I are about to get married. I don't want this matter to affect our wedding." A reporter asked, "We heard you were constantly inseparable from Yi Deng-cheng. In doing so, did you ever consider your fiancé's feelings?" Liu Ruyan's heart tightened. After a long pause, she spoke, "I only took pity on him because he just graduated. Struggling alone in a big city isn't easy, so I gave him a job as my driver. I never expected him to be such an ungrateful ingrate." But the very next second, a voice rang out, "The ungrateful ingrate is you." Liu Ruyan. Yi Deng-cheng unexpectedly appeared right at the scene of the press conference. The scene fell completely out of control. Yi Deng-cheng held his phone out for everyone to see, exposing the crude, flirtatious texts between him and Liu Ruyan. He threw them down and roared, "Liu Ruyan, you are already carrying my child in your womb." The shock value of this news was no less than catching Liu Ruyan in the act of infidelity. After the reporters buzzed with excitement, they once again hurled lethal questions at her. "Then what about Mr. G-Boda? Can we invite him here to clarify this himself? Is it true you are pregnant? How can you prove the baby isn't Yi Deng-cheng's?" Liu Ruyan's head was spinning. She stood up abruptly, rushed toward the lens and sobbed, "G-Boda, I was wrong, please don't abandon me. It's all Yi Deng-cheng's fault. He's the one who forced himself on me. G. Boda, I love you. I swear, I only love you alone. The manager was completely unable to stop Liu Ruyan. She had gone completely mad. The manager hurriedly said, "Dear reporters, today's press conference ends here. Please follow our office's Weibo for all further information." Staff tried to drag Liu Ruyan away, but she struggled violently. She even collapsed to her knees right before the cameras, begging everyone to help her find G. Boda. Her eyes were bloodshot. She glared at Yi Deng Cheng and screamed, "I'll kill you." In the chaos, Liu Ruyan was shoved to the ground. She was in so much pain her vision dimmed. "Help me. Help me." I heard about this later, but it didn't stir a single ripple in my heart. Because whether it's Liu Ruyan or Yi Deng Cheng, they have absolutely nothing to do with me anymore. In this life, I will never look upon those two detestable faces ever again. A few days later, the landlord gave me a movie ticket. I wanted to relax a bit after classes, so I went to see it. It was a Western romance movie. It told the story of a man and a woman falling in love at first sight, being torn apart by misunderstandings, and finally finding their way back to each other. When the ending theme played, the young men and women around me were moved to tears. Sitting next to me was a girl about my age. Seeing how calm I was, she asked in surprise, "Sir, aren't you moved? It's such a tragic and beautiful love story." I shook my head. I was just like the movie. I once loved Liu Ruyan at first sight. Pity that Liu Ruyan couldn't keep that sincerity, letting it rot away in the end. 8 years of youth from 17 to 25 were thrown to the dogs. So how can I ever believe in love again? Now I only want to immerse myself in my passion for music, not caring a whit for romance. Meanwhile, at a hospital back home, when Liu Ruyan was brought in, she showed signs of a threatened miscarriage. After the doctor's best efforts, the baby was temporarily saved. Yi Deng Cheng sat dazed in the hospital hallway. At this moment, he felt an endless regret. If only he hadn't been so greedy at the start, and hadn't actively provoked G. Boda, perhaps he could have stayed Liu Ruyan's lover forever. Even if it was in the shadows, his life would have been comfortable and worry-free. But now, he and Liu Ruyan have turned completely against each other. Netizens even dug up his past, revealing he had often used his connection to the film queen to send lewd, flirtatious messages to other actresses. He even sneaked into female dorms to voyeuristically film them back in college. As the scandal came to light, he was completely ostracized by society. A starved camel is still bigger than a horse. She was rich once. The only way forward was to cling tightly to Liu Ruyan. He immediately called Liu Ruyan's mother and said, "You surely don't want your daughter to be branded as a promiscuous slut, do you? Besides, if the child is born without a father, she'll be the one losing face. There's only one way now, and that's for Liu Ruyan to marry me. It can still salvage some of her crumbling career." The fallout from the press conference continued to spread. Tianxing Entertainment, the company Liu Ruyan was signed to, suffered a severe blow to its stock price due to the impact of the scandal. The company's leadership met through the night. Finally, the representative's office unilaterally announced the termination of Liu Ruyan's contract. When the wall crumbles, everyone pushes. In times of trouble, everyone turns away. Major advertisers all cited Liu Ruyan's breach of contract to cancel their partnerships and demand massive damages from her. All over the internet, a wave of demands for Liu Ruyan to get out of the industry arose. People collectively boycotted all works featuring her. Platforms simultaneously removed her films, TV series, and reality shows. Because of this, a string of other celebrities were caught in the crossfire and posted on Weibo to criticize Liu Ruyan. Truly, one bad apple spoils the bunch. Former film queen is now like a rat crossing the street, shunned by every person and every household. Faced with staggering compensation fees, Liu Ruyan had no choice but to sell off all assets in her name. But it was all just a drop in the ocean. Every day, the moment she woke up, her phone rang non-stop. It was nothing but curses and debt collectors. Whenever an unknown number called, she would nervously pick up. "G. Boda, is that you?" And every time she was met with disappointment. "I'm your father." But she didn't dare change her number. Nor did she dare turn off her phone, for fear of missing a call from G. Boda. Without food or sleep for days on end, she completely collapsed. She had to move from her luxury villa to the outskirts. In a dilapidated old apartment, she, her mother, and her sister squeezed into a space of barely 50 square meters. Her mother, fearing the baby would be born fatherless, which would be deeply shameful, had no choice but to take Yi Deng Cheng in. Yi Deng Cheng took advantage of Liu Ruyan's pregnancy with his child, bossed mother Liu and Liu Rushui around. He said, "Let me tell you something. Serve me well, and I might consider marrying Liu Ruyan. Otherwise, just wait and watch your reputation rot." Mother Liu had to both soothe her daughter Liu Ruyan, who muttered like a madwoman all day, and catered to Yi Deng Cheng's every whim. It was a pity for the woman nearing 70 to suffer like this. Mother Liu washed her face with tears every day, and very soon after, she fell ill. Liu Ruyan knelt by her mother's bed in remorse. "Mom, it's all because of my lack of filial piety that you have to suffer so much for me at your age." Mother Liu, also full of regret, said, "In the past years, I kept advising you to marry someone of equal status because Jiboda was an orphan and couldn't help your career. Now I truly regret it so much. He was the one who was truly a good son-in-law." Mother and daughter embraced, sobbing uncontrollably. Standing nearby, Yi Deng. Chen pointed right at them and scolded, "Stop acting out this deep mother-daughter love scene. Hurry up and give me 1,000,000 yuan. I want to change to a new car." Liu Rushui grabbed his arm. "Brother Cheng, my mother is lying here sick, and my sister is drowning in debt. Where would we get the money for you to change cars?" But Yi Deng Cheng refused to believe it. He argued that Liu Ruyan filming a few-second commercial could earn several million yuan. Participating in one show brought in tens of millions. With countless houses and cars, how could she suddenly be out of money? The whole family was just colluding to play poor in front of him. He shoved his hands into his pockets and snorted, "I don't care. If there's no money, I'll go spread filth to the media, so you'll never be able to show your face again." Liu Ruyan looked at Yi Deng Cheng coldly. She was truly blind to have been so infatuated with him, only to end up with this result. Liu Ruyan took the last 100,000 yuan left in her account and transferred it to him. Said, "This is all that's left. Take the money and get out. Don't let me see your face again." Yi Deng Cheng received the money, and his attitude immediately flipped 180 degrees. He flattered her. "Nuna, we're all one family. The words I said just now were just in a moment of anger. Don't worry, I'll definitely be filial to our mother." Liu Ruyan pursed her lips tightly, staring intently at her belly, trying to suppress the venomous glint in her eyes. The suffering that Jiboda had to endure, she would surely make Yi Deng Cheng pay for it tenfold. In the middle of the night, I received an international call. Jiboda, Mother Chen was in a car accident. Mother Chen was the director of the orphanage where I grew up as a child. In my memories, she was always gentle and kind, treating every child as if they were her own. She was my only family in this world. A few days ago, as she stepped out the door, she was struck by a car that had lost control. Every year, Liu Ruyan would come with me to visit her at the orphanage. Every time, Mother Chen would bring a whole truckload of necessities to donate to the poor orphans. Mother Chen would smile kindly at me and say, "Jiboda, seeing you happy like this puts my heart at ease." She would also take Liu Ruyan's hand and advise her, "Jiboda is a good-hearted boy. You definitely made the right choice with him." Liu Ruyan had immediately sworn back then, "In this life, I will only love you alone. If not, let me lose everything and be ruined, and die without a proper burial." Only a year has passed, and Liu Ruyan has already betrayed her vow. She deserves to have her reputation destroyed. I said, "Tell Mother Chen that I'll be back tomorrow." After hanging up, a wave of sorrow surged through me. Fortunately, there was still some time before the next exam. I immediately booked a flight home for the next day. After a long, grueling flight, after 2 months away, I finally returned to my homeland. Without a moment's rest, I rushed straight to the hospital. Seeing Mother Chen lying frail on the hospital bed, my heart filled with guilt. Over the past half year, I was always caught up in the drama of Liu Ruyan and Yi Deng Cheng, so much so that I never even asked how she was doing. I immediately paid to hire a caregiver for her. I stayed behind to look after her myself. The doctor said Mother Chen's condition is stable now, so I plan to take Mother Chen to Austria for her retirement. Turning the corner, I caught a glimpse and saw Liu Rushu sitting on a bench outside the obstetrics department. "Next patient, Liu Ruyan," the nurse called out. That was when I saw her. The pregnant woman sitting next to Liu Rushui. It was actually Liu Ruyan. After helping Liu Ruyan into the examination room, Liu Rushui turned around and saw me. Her face was stunned. "Brother-in-law?" Liu Rushui chased after me, saying, "Brother-in-law, is it really you?" She emotionally grabbed my sleeve, her eyes filled with tears. I looked at her coldly. "I am no longer your brother-in-law. You have the wrong person." She said, "Brother-in-law, Brother G. My sister is truly sorry. After you left, my mother also fell ill. My sister is drowning in debt. What's even more hateful is that Yi Deng Cheng, he keeps clinging to our family and won't leave. My mother and I even have to serve him. Poor sister, even while pregnant, she has to work part-time to make money. You must help us." Liu Rushu cried as she spoke, lamenting the family's miserable situation. I brushed her hand away and asked, "But what does any of this have to do with me?" Liu Rushu was stunned. She said, "Gee, Boda, how can you be so heartless?" "I'm heartless. The situation today is of their own making. They can't blame anyone else even a bit." I said, "If you still remember any of my past kindness, then just act like we've never met." When I returned to the hospital room, Mother Chen had just woken up. "Boda, why did you come here alone? Where is little Liu?" Mother Chen still didn't know about Liu Ruyan's affair. Her health was failing. I didn't want these things to trouble her. I said, "She's busy with work." "You know how it is, Mother. Those actors, once they join a film crew, they're gone for months at a time." But Mother Chen noticed the strangeness on my face. "Boda, I can't do much for you. But whatever you decide, I will always support you." My heart felt bitter. "You've grown so thin lately. Anyone can see that something has definitely happened." I took the matter of Liu Ruyan's affair and told Mother Chen the whole story from beginning to end. Mother Chen painfully held my hand. She said, "As soon as I saw you, I realized that life hasn't been easy for you lately. 8 long years. That little Liu is truly beyond foolish." I pretended to be at ease. "Mother Chen, it's all in the past. I've already started a new life. I've enrolled in the music academy. I'm just waiting for the second round of auditions now. I plan to take you with me, to live with me in Austria." Mother Chen's eyes were still full of worry. She said, "Good boy. Can you really let it go?" I gave a relieved smile. I said, "I've truly let go." I coaxed Mother Chen to sleep. I caught a glimpse of a figure pacing outside the ward. I pushed the door open, and it was Liu Ruyan. Boda. Though we were less than 3 meters apart, for a moment I didn't even recognize Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan's gloomy eyes, upon seeing the person she had been longing for, immediately lit up. She called out, "Boda, is it really you? Rushu said she saw you at the hospital." I didn't believe her. Liu Ruyan excitedly tried to throw herself into my arms. I quickly stepped back 2 paces, keeping my distance. Liu Ruyan looked at me in disbelief. The way I recoiled pierced her heart. She had been plagued by nightmares every night. Missing me to the point of madness, she finally saw me. Over time, she had felt endless regret. She thought that if she could just see me and explain everything, then I would surely return to her side, till this very moment. Liu Ruyan finally realized that she was truly about to lose me. She asked tremblingly, "Boda, do you really not love me anymore?" I didn't want to wake Mother Chen, so I turned around and headed downstairs. Liu Ruyan followed closely. "Boda, please listen to my explanation. At first, Yitang Cheng forced me. I admit I was a cowardly woman. I thought I'd give in just once, only once. Who knew he would cling to me and not let go? I never wanted anything to come of it with him. Your stomach hasn't been good these past years, and your health is poor, so I was speechless. So you went to Yitang Cheng to satisfy your needs." I stopped and looked at her. Her lips quivered. The words wouldn't come out. How ironic. Sympathizing with my health. Had she ever considered my heart? When I confirmed from the photos Yitang Cheng sent that the Wanzan woman was indeed Liu Ruyan, my whole world collapsed. My entire body went numb. My stomach hurt so much I began to retch. What was Liu Ruyan doing then? She was lying beneath Yitang Cheng, letting Yitang Cheng satisfy his lust. Even if Yitang Cheng was the instigator, does that make Liu Ruyan innocent? She could have refused. Even after the first time with Yitang Cheng, she still had a chance to turn back, but she didn't. Yitang Cheng gave her excuse after excuse to fall deeper. "Liu Ruyan," I spoke softly, "do you even believe the words coming out of your mouth? Even if he forced you at the beginning, you still chose to actively sneak behind my back and stay entangled with Yitang Cheng. Every night. While you two were passionately together, I was right upstairs. I saw everything, I heard everything. I thought those painful memories had faded, but bringing them up again, my heart still aches with every breath." Faced with my honest accusations, Liu Ruyan had nowhere to hide. She said, "Boda, I am truly sorry for hurting you, but can you give me one more chance?" She tried to grab my hand, but I shrugged her off. I said, "Don't touch me. I'm afraid of catching something." Liu Ruyan was desperate. She knelt down weeping and begging, "Boda, if you just give me one chance, I'll do anything." She's forgotten. Does she have anything left of value to trade? Money, status, or this filthy body? I gave a cold laugh. I said, "Save that filthy body for Yitang Cheng." Liu Ruyan stood frozen in place. Disgust in my eyes was like a dagger, stabbing her right in the heart. By the time I had walked away, she finally stumbled to her feet. Hee. She laughed bitterly. "Boda is right. If I knew it would end like this, why did I do it then? She walked and muttered, "I brought this on myself. I don't deserve to live. Self-inflicted disaster. No way to survive." Faced with massive contract breach penalties, Liu Ruyan had to work part-time while pregnant to earn money. But what can a pregnant woman really do? She wanted an abortion, but her mother absolutely refused. There was truly no other way. So she had to return to her old profession, constantly going to auditions. But in the industry, her reputation was ruined. Directors avoided her like the plague. Who would dare to cast her now? Every day before dawn, she waited outside film studios, scrambling for roles among the extras. Normal extras get 200 yuan a day. She only asked for 100 yuan. Because of that, others insulted her even more. She barely managed to get a non-speaking role as a maidservant. Lunch was just a box of plain white rice. She ran to the logistics staff. "Sir, could I please have a little soup?" But she was mocked instead. "Do I need to prepare a 4-course meal with soup for you?" The movie queen, indeed. She squatted in a corner of the studio. A bite of rice, a sip of plain water. After a day's work, she was starving. When it was time to get paid, she was told there was no fee. The person said, "The director said you're a tainted artist. All the scenes with you in them must be deleted. We haven't even charged you for delaying the schedule yet. Now get out." After that, she could only play a corpse. And it had to be the most gruesome death. That day, she received a call for an audition. The person asked, 500 yuan a day, do you want the part? Liu Ruyan was so excited she didn't even ask what the role was. She hurriedly agreed immediately. She knelt by her mother's hospital bed. "Mother, I'm acting in a movie again. You must stay strong. I will seize this opportunity." She ran to me again. "Boda, wait for me to make a comeback. I will definitely redeem myself." I only felt disgust. Liu Ruyan was subservient when she met the director. There was no trace of the movie queen she once was. After finalizing the details, she was taken to makeup. A staff member asked the director, "There are so many actors to choose from. Why choose someone with such a notorious reputation?" The director gave a meaningful smile. He said the investor personally appointed her. They wanted Liu Ruyan specifically for this role, because this role is, he said, "Ha ha ha. I'm really looking forward to seeing that pure White Lotus perform." The makeup artist caked thick powder onto Liu Ruyan's face. Blue and purple eyeshadow, bright red lips. Makeup was incredibly garish. She looked at her increasingly bizarre reflection in the mirror. She couldn't help but ask, "Excuse me, what kind of character am I playing?" The makeup artist also knew about her cheating scandal, so they didn't even bother to look. Just glanced sideways and replied, "I don't know." Liu Ruyan knew better and shut her mouth. She thought as long as she could act, she'd be willing to play a beggar or a thief. Not until she changed into a leopard print miniskirt and a camisole to step onto the set did she realize her role was a streetwalker. Liu Ruyan gritted her teeth. The lead actress was a fourth-tier actress who, in the past, wouldn't even have been worthy of carrying Liu Ruyan's shoes. Now she had suddenly risen to the top. She exclaimed, "Oh, isn't this the great movie queen Liu? How did you fall so low as to play a prostitute?" Ha ha ha. Her mockery made everyone on set burst into laughter. Liu Ruyan flushed red with shame, but she couldn't lose her temper. She could only stand aside and give an awkward smile. The first scene was the part where she stood in the red light district soliciting customers. Liu Ruyan swallowed her humiliation, striking a provocative pose. High and mighty lead actress. Read her lines. "You don't know how to keep yourself pure. Any man can crawl all over you. How cheap." As she spoke, a pot-bellied man stepped forward and grabbed her. The studio erupted in another round of mockery. Liu Ruyan remembered Boda's words, "I'm afraid of catching something. Stay away from me with that filthy body of yours." She suddenly broke down and wailed, "Why are you treating me like this?" Not far away, the investor folded his arms and sneered. He said, "Why? Don't you know what you've done yourself? You piece of trash." Over the phone, I heard from my friend how they vented their anger for me by making Liu Ruyan play a streetwalker. I was both touched and amused. He said, "Boda, you have no idea. Liu Ruyan looked absolutely terrible playing a streetwalker." Ha ha. I laughed for a bit and said, "Thanks, brother. But from now on, this person really has nothing to do with me." After hanging up, a Weibo notification popped up. The former movie queen has fallen so low she's playing a prostitute. Humiliated on set to the point of breaking down in tears. Netizens' comments were even more ruthless. Serves her right. Promiscuous by nature. So playing a streetwalker is exactly where she belongs. I'll take any role in the movie for free. Just let me get my hands on that pure White Lotus. Boycott Liu Ruyan from returning to the entertainment industry. She's not worthy of playing any role. I just arrived at the ward door and heard Liu Ruyan's voice from inside. "Mother Chen." "It's me, little Liu." Liu Ruyan knelt before Mother Chen's bed, crying piteously. Mother Chen didn't give her a kind look at all. Less than greater than. Mother Chen said, after doing such shameful things. Less than greater than. What are you still doing here? Mother Chen, I truly know I was wrong. Please help me convince Boda. I can't live without him. Liu Ruyan rambled on about her regret towards me, swearing to love only me for the rest of her life. Mother Chen finally softened. I heard Boda say that you're already pregnant with another man's child. Little Liu, listen to my advice. Just focus on living a decent life. Liu Ruyan repeated dazedly, the child? The child. She stared at her belly. That's right. If it weren't for Yutang Cheng's child, would Boda forgive her? I didn't want Mother Chen to be disturbed. I pushed the door open and said coldly, leave now. Stop bothering Mother Chen, and don't look for me. Liu Ruyan grabbed my hand. Her eyes flashed. She asked, Boda, is it? If I no longer have Yutang Cheng's child in my belly, then you'll forgive me, right? I looked at the crazed Liu Ruyan before me, took out my phone and called security. I said, there's a crazy person here. Come and take her away immediately. As Liu Ruyan was dragged away by security, she kept screaming about getting revenge for me. I don't even know how she plans to get revenge. Wasn't she the one who hurt me the most? I had a bad premonition, so I didn't want any more involvement in the relationship between the Liu family and Yutang Cheng. I said, Mother Chen, shall we leave next week? Mother Chen painfully patted my cold hands. The following days, I couldn't sleep well. I was constantly in a daze. I dreamed of the day I confessed to Liu Ruyan. She wore a pure white dress, a radiant smile. She said, Boda, I say yes. I love you too. We felt the sea breeze together on the sand. I picked up Liu Ruyan and spun her around. The white dress on Liu Ruyan's body suddenly turned red. Red as blood. Then Yutang Cheng, holding a large bouquet of lilies, looked at me maliciously and said, Brother Ji, these are the flowers she prepared for you. Do you like them? I ran desperately, screaming for help. Somebody help me! Not far away. Liu Ruyan looked at me coldly. Boda, Yutang Cheng is the father of the child in my belly. Ha ha! The laughter felt like it was splitting my eardrums. I woke up from the dream drenched in cold sweat. Brother G, your condition is PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I recommend medication combined with psychological counseling. I held the diagnosis, lost in thought. I thought those wounds had faded away, but it turned out they were like a seed, buried deep in the bottom of my heart. Liu Ruyan's repeated appearances have awakened this seed. Mother Chen heard about it and gave Liu Ruyan a severe scolding. Then she held my hand, wanting to leave immediately. Let's go, stay far away from these crazy people. I smiled and nodded. Liu Ruyan showed up at the hospital every day, tenaciously begging for my forgiveness. I stood by the window, watching Liu Ruyan being chased away by security. She looked just like a stray dog. No pity in my heart at all. Only felt a sense of satisfaction. Liu Ruyan, good is rewarded with good and evil with evil. Heaven's punishment for her was losing her career and status, while Yutang Cheng's punishment was still unfolding. Since moving to the outskirts, the apartment was dilapidated and wretched. Quality of life plummeted miserably. At first, Yutang Cheng naively thought, a lean camel is still bigger than a horse. As long as he stuck with Liu Ruyan, he'd have a good life eventually. But he gradually realized Liu Ruyan was truly out of money, and Liu Ruyan's belly was getting bigger by the day. Yutang Cheng hadn't had a proper job since graduating college. He was fickle, couldn't get easy work, and wouldn't do hard labor. Good jobs wouldn't pick him, and he didn't care for low-paying ones. Seeing others make money live streaming, he started live streaming to show off his body. He said, hey there, wealthy, beautiful ladies. If I take off my shirt, will you send me a rocket? He wore a deep V-neck shirt, briefly flashing his chest and abs. Someone in the live stream recognized him. Oh, isn't this that side piece guy? Indeed, a match made in heaven with Liu Ruyan. What a scumbag and a tramp. Yutang Cheng didn't feel ashamed, but rather took pride in it. Changed his account name to the Pure Flower's younger brother, while secretly selling for cheap, sensitive videos of himself and Liu Ruyan. Liu Ruyan's mother lay in bed in the bedroom. So angry her blood pressure soared. What a sin, you've completely dragged the Liu family name through the mud. Yutang Cheng glanced sideways at her, you old hag. Back then you wouldn't let Liu Ruyan have an abortion for the life of you. Regretting it now? Liu Rushu couldn't stand it and argued with Yutang Cheng. The two of them started fighting right in front of the livestream camera. Liu Ruyan came home and saw this, and rushed over to give Yutang Cheng a stinging slap across the face. Yutang Cheng, haven't you had enough humiliation yet? Yutang Cheng flew into a rage, pointed at Liu Ruyan and shouted, get this straight. This family of yours, is surviving on the money from my live streams. You're a useless piece of trash and you dare act high and mighty with me. If you hadn't forced me at the beginning, would I have ended up like this? Even now, she still thinks Yitang Cheng is the one who ruined her, to this extent, completely failing to recognize her own mistakes. Yitang Cheng sneered. Liu Ruyan, don't you dare try to paint yourself as a saint. Flies don't swarm where there are no openings. You think you're some kind of good person. Netizens in the live stream room shouted in unison. Well said. During the scuffle, Yitang Cheng punched Liu Ruyan in the stomach. Liu Ruyan was in so much pain she broke into a cold sweat, but still didn't forget to rush to the camera and call out, Boda, Boda, if I just get rid of this child, then you'll come back to me, won't you? She has truly gone mad. Liu Ruyan was taken to the hospital. Struggling for a day and night, she gave birth to a baby boy. She suffered a postpartum hemorrhage. To save her life, the doctors performed the hysterectomy. Her mother was also admitted at the same time. Suffering from acute cerebral infarction, she didn't even have a chance to look at the grandson she had been longing for before passing away. On one side, the joy of a new life. On the other, the pain of losing a mother. Liu Ruyan lay days on the hospital bed. Her eyes were hollow. Liu Ruxue, unable to bear the burden, had run away, taking the last 20,000 yuan from Liu Ruyan's card to run off with a thug. The nurse urged Liu Ruyan to pay the hospital bills. The child was diagnosed with congenital heart disease, requiring immediate surgery, because there was no money for the mother's funeral. Her mother's body could only be temporarily kept in the hospital morgue. The storage fee was 200 yuan a day. The hospital had issued many reminders. If not paid, her mother's body would end up rotting in the street. Liu Ruyan called her formerly close friends. She asked, could you lend me 50,000 yuan? Those who were once as close as sisters, who once shared milk tea, now mocked her. Lending you money is like throwing meat to a dog. It never comes back. You still think you're a movie queen? My dog lives a better life than you. Liu Ruyan looked at her contact list. Only a few people left. But everyone had already blocked her. Only now did she realize she was completely empty-handed. I was with the attending physician, finalizing Mother Chen's discharge time. After booking the flights, I walked out of the doctor's office and saw Liu Ruyan standing barefoot at the door. Seeing me, she rushed over and grabbed my hand tightly. She said, Boda, I've already given birth. Look, my belly is empty now. Does that mean you'll forgive me now? Liu Ruyan's hair was a mess. Due to excessive blood loss, she hadn't regained her strength yet. Her face was completely bloodless. I shook her off and said, Liu Ruyan, when you cheated on and betrayed me, why didn't you think there would be an end like today? Liu Ruyan kept clinging to me, refusing to let go. She said, Boda, this is retribution. It is my karma. That child has heart disease. He's not going to make it. I said, you should go find the father of that child, not come looking for me. I'm not a fool for you to use, much less someone to take responsibility for another man's mess. Liu Ruyan collapsed to the ground, weeping at first, but after crying for a while, she began to laugh. She said Yitang Cheng dared to claim the child wasn't his. He called him a bastard. Ha ha ha, I truly deserve this. I really do deserve this. Suddenly, Yitang Cheng rushed out of nowhere, holding a dagger and lunging straight at me. It's all because of you that I'm in this miserable state. Everything happened so suddenly. I didn't have time to dodge at all. Just as the tip of the blade was about to hit me, Liu Ruyan lunged forward to shield me. The knife grazed my arm and slashed Liu Ruyan's neck. Fresh blood poured out. I was already too tired of this ridiculous farce. I turned my back and walked away. But Liu Ruyan still chased me all the way downstairs, collapsing to her knees before me in front of everyone. She said, Boda, I'm full of sin. I deserve this. My mother is dead. My sister has also left. The punishment I've endured is already enough. Can you still not forgive me? I had long seen through her selfishness and cold-blooded nature, so I didn't hesitate to expose her. Liu Ruyan, you regret it. Only because you've lost your status and money, not because you truly feel guilty towards me. If you were still the film queen today, would you even think that having an affair was wrong? You keep saying you're innocent, but did anyone hold a knife to your throat to force you into bed with Yitang Cheng? If you think you deserve to die, then stop dragging me into a life that has rotted to the very core. I didn't want to deal with her any longer. Mother Chen's discharge procedures were complete. Tomorrow we'll fly back to Austria. I also received notice for the re-examination. I won't give up on my musical dreams for anyone ever again. Boda, I said I would get revenge for you. I didn't understand what she was saying. Suddenly, the surrounding crowd screamed, "She's holding a baby!" Liu Ruyan! She actually carried the child out of the intensive care unit. Liu Ruyan has truly gone mad. Seeing her lose it, people around rushed in to restrain Liu Ruyan. Someone had already called the police. I looked at Liu Ruyan one last time, decisively turned to leave. Liu Ruyan tried to get up to chase me, but was pinned down by the arriving patrol officers. With tears and snot smearing her face, she wailed, "Ji Boda, please don't go. Don't leave me." Her hoarse cries were quickly silenced by a police taser. At the airport, I boarded a long-distance flight with Mother Chen. Even though my PTSD is still very severe and requires long-term medication, I believe the dark clouds will one day vanish. If I can't find the way back to my hometown, I'll cross 10,000 miles of mountains to find myself. After bringing Mother Chen over, the house I rented was a bit rushed. Since we settled down, I decided to buy a detached villa. In December, I was busy preparing for the final audition. I found a quiet forest to practice the cello. I sat amidst the vast woods, closed my eyes, and played beautiful melodies. As the music ended, applause rang out from behind me. She said, "Bach's Prelude in G major, Bach in the Rain. Your cello skills are truly excellent." I turned towards the sound. A young girl with an Asian face was standing right behind me. She was also holding a cello in her hands. I said, "Hello, I am Ji Boda. How should I address you?" The girl nodded and smiled. "Hello. My name is Yu Wei." Perhaps because I was in a foreign land, meeting Yu Wei, I let down my guard and began to chat with her. I told her I'd been in Vienna for over 2 months. She is 2 years younger than me. Surprisingly, she is also a new student at the University of Music and Performing Arts Vienna. Yu Wei came to Austria for high school and chose to stay in Vienna for her passion for music. She has settled down here now. She asked, "What about you? Why did you choose to live here?" I thought for a moment and answered seriously, "Because I've always had a dream of music. I once gave it up for certain people and events. Vienna is the music paradise in my heart, so I came here." Yui nodded in agreement and asked, "Aren't you afraid of the hardship? Pursuing music is a very difficult path." I replied, "No matter how hard it is, there's always a destination, right?" We talked a lot about music and about dreams. I invited her to have dinner and bragged that Mother Chen's cooking was amazing. While eating, she exclaimed, "Wow, it's been 2 years since I'd had Chinese food, this authentic." Yui couldn't stop praising Mother Chen's cooking skills. Mother Chen was so charmed she couldn't stop smiling. Mother Chen said, "This child is so sweet-talked. In the future, if you want any home-cooked dishes, just come to me. I'll cook for you." Yue turned to look at me and softly asked, "Is that all right, Goga?" Only when I nodded did she break into a radiant smile. The next day at the audition, we met outside the examination room again. She said, "Ji Boda, good luck." I replied, "Yue, you too, good luck." We looked at each other and smiled, then stepped into the room with confidence. During the days of waiting for the results, Yue kept finding all sorts of excuses to run over to my house. Sometimes she said her house was out of salt to get a meal. Other times she said her heater was broken to stay warm. Mother Chen realized Yue had feelings for me, so she prodded. "Yue, that girl is very good. What do you think?" I remained silent. Mother Chen sighed. "Boda, I am so happy you found your music dream again. It proves you are ready to start over. People must eventually move forward." I looked at Mother Chen and said, "Mom, please give me a little more time. It's not that I don't notice Yue's feelings, but I truly need time." A day before Christmas, I finally received the email notifying me of my admission to the University of Music and Performing Arts Vienna. My fingers trembled as I clicked confirm, and I was so excited I almost jumped up. Mother Chen smiled and said, "You're still as mischievous as you were when you were little." At the same time, Yue also received her admission email, and she happily ran over to share the joy with me. In a flash, it was the first day of school. I slung the cello over my shoulder and stepped into my dream sanctuary of music, looking at the portraits of the world-famous musical masters who once lived in Vienna hanging on the wall, like Mozart, Haydn, Beethoven, and Schubert. In this life, I'll take music as my companion to fulfill my life's value. Ji Boda. I turned around. Yue was standing not far away wearing a brilliant smile. A year later, I received some news. After I left, the hospital had set a surgery time for the child, but in the end, Liu Ruyan's child couldn't wait until that day. Yi Dengcheng was arrested for intentional injury and was released after 15 days in detention. During that time, Liu Ruyan buried her mother, simply in a desolate wasteland, without even a tombstone. She knelt before the grave, bowed her head hard, and said, "Mother, wait for me to finish what I must do, then I'll come join you." She bought a knife at a nearby store and rushed straight to the suburbs. She returned to the old house on the outskirts, where Yi Deng-cheng had been staying since his release from detention. Liu Ruyan went inside and locked the door. Before Yi Deng-cheng could understand what was happening, Liu Ruyan stabbed him. She screamed, "Go and kneel down and apologize to him. Beg for his forgiveness." Afterward, Liu Ruyan herself called the police. When the police arrived, Yi Deng-cheng was lying in a pool of blood. Liu Ruyan, covered in blood, sat dazed on the sofa, muttering incessantly, "Ji Boda, I have avenged you. Hurry back to me." Finally, Liu Ruyan was convicted of intentional homicide and sentenced to life imprisonment. During the health checkup for prison transfer, she was diagnosed with a terminal illness in its final stage. For humanitarian reasons, she was taken to a hospital for free treatment. The bone-deep pain of the disease tortured her brutally. Liu Ruyan was often in so much pain she curled up on the bed. Finally, unable to bear it any longer, she ran to the roof and threw herself off, dying instantly. Liu Ruyan's oath from years ago, "Ji Boda, in this life I only love you. If not, let my reputation be ruined, and let me die an unseemly death," it has now come true. The hospital said she left a suicide note for me and asked if I wanted it sent. I refused. I said, "Please burn it for me. Let it, along with the terrible memories of the past 8 years, vanish into ashes." I went to see my psychiatrist for the last time. The doctor said in broken Chinese, "Congratulations. Ji Boda, you can stop taking your medication now. The nightmares that haunted me for so long have finally vanished." I walked the streets with a light heart, feeling a sense of ease and freedom like never before. On that difficult path, I was lucky to always have Mother Chen by my side. And of course, there was also Yu Wei. She was always cheerful and bright, like a little sun warming my soul. Perhaps, just as Mother Chen said, I should start my life anew. Before long, Vienna welcomed another Christmas. In the early morning, the sound of knocking woke me up. Still sleepy, I went to open the door and was met by a giant Christmas tree right at the entrance. I was startled. Yu Wei peeked out from behind the tree. "Merry Christmas." I couldn't help but laugh out loud. She pretended to be sulky, hands on hips. "Ji Boda, aren't you going to help me carry this tree inside?" I dotingly stroked her head, then rolled up my sleeves to carry the tree into the living room. We decorated the tree together, hanging candles, small ornaments, and twinkling stars. Yu Wei also placed a few gift boxes under the tree. I picked up a fairly heavy gift box and asked, "Is there actually a gift in here?" She looked mysterious and snatched the box back. She said, "Let's open them together tomorrow." I scoffed, as if I'm dying to see it. While Yu Wei was on the ladder hanging Christmas hats, I couldn't resist my curiosity and sneakily opened the box. Inside was a newly composed piece of music. "Do you like it?" Yu Wei had appeared behind me at some point. She said, "I spent 3 months writing this piece. It's a double cello concerto." She looked at me with eyes sparkling with joy. Her breath was so gentle, making me feel incredibly peaceful. After dinner, I, along with Mother Chen and Yu Wei, went for a stroll in the city. The whole city of Vienna was dressed in its magnificent Christmas attire. Everywhere you looked, adults and children were dressed as Santa Claus, and even pets were wearing cute Christmas outfits. Yu Wei somehow found a few Christmas hats and put them on herself, me, and Mother Chen. She even stuck a fake beard on me. She said, "Ji Boda, you are Santa Claus. I want to make a wish with you. You must help me fulfill it." Her skipping and dancing made me and Mother Chen laugh with joy. Yu Wei shouted as she ran, "I hope Ji Boda can smile happily forever. May that smile be purer than the snow on the Alps. I hope Mother Chen becomes even more beautiful, becoming the most beautiful Mother Chen in the world." I thought to myself, Mother Chen was right. Yu Wei is truly a professional flatterer. I tease, "Your mouth is so sweet. No wonder Mother Chen adores you so much. She talks about Yu Wei all day long, and even says she wants to adopt you." Mother Chen chimed in, "Then I'll have both a son and a daughter." Yu Wei suddenly dropped her playful demeanor, leaned close to my ear and whispered, "What about you, Ji Boda? Do you like me?" I was flustered, not knowing how to answer. Just as I was about to speak, someone suddenly shouted, "Look, fireworks." Splendid bursts of fireworks cascaded from above, mingling with streaks of falling stars, creating a scene as beautiful as a fairy tale. Stars that traveled billions of light years to meet humanity here, just as we have crossed many latitudes to meet again in this Vienna. Yu Wei turned to me under the shimmering night light and confessed to me with total sincerity, "I want to hug you," to express everything that is surging within my heart. I also turned to look at her. I softly said, "Yu Wei, it would be more appropriate for me to take the lead on this." She covered her mouth in shock, tears beginning to well up in her eyes. I asked gently, Yue, would you be willing to play a piece of music with me?